Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliott Pierre. We're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be a million other places and doing a million other things, so the fact that you spend it with us truly does mean the world to me, so thank you. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
Whatty up, boss? Welcome to the Mac City Morning Show.
Hey everybody, Keith Simpson here from Norel Toyota. We support the Oil Barons. We've joined the drive-in movie theater. We're involved in the marathon here in Fort McMurray, and that's what makes this community such an amazing place to live.
Okay, and we're back. I'm excited about today's guest because it's round two. Last time the sound didn't work. This time we've triple checked. It does work. So, as you guys know, I don't introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves. So can you please tell everybody at home who you are and what you're about?
I am Carla White, and I am, what I'm all about. I'm a proud mom of 3 adult children.
Well,
I know
good.
I don't look old enough. I had them like when I was 10-ish.
Okay, there you go.
And I have been married as long as I've lived in Fort McMurray, which is over half my life. So I've been here for 30 years. My husband would tell you that it's only been about 16 glorious years, but it's been 30. It's been 30. And what else am I about? Well, I'm an author. I'm a humorist. And I'm a happiness catalyst.
Okay. Let's. You've hit me and Tanner probably on the best day possible. Okay. On the way here, we were talking about I don't think I could be in a better mood if I tried.
Perfect.
I'm so happy right now, which I'm happy every day, but sometimes it's a little bonus. And Tanner's doing extremely well today too. So, what is a happy catalyst? Elaborate on that for us, because maybe we can go up another notch that I'm unaware of.
Well, I work with people and their feelings.
Okay.
And so it's been a long journey for me. I was once known as the angry housewife.
Right.
Because that was my comedic persona, but it was also a time in my life when I struggled with depression, mental health issues, and just some self-esteem. So I was on this path to try and figure out how I could be happier. That was what I was searching for, was how can I be happy?
Right.
And I had the picture perfect life. I had this amazing home and husband and healthy children. I'd had a lot of work accomplishments.
Right.
And I just was not happy.
Okay.
I was, so I spent a lot of time. I spent about 10 years being treated for depression. Okay. And really from there, I started to do some work on how do I heal this? How do I find that happiness? And I studied with coaches. I went to therapy. I did all of these things, and to try and find my happy. And I managed to succeed.
Okay.
And so now what I say is I'm a happiness catalyst because I can't make you happy, and I can't make anybody but myself happy.
Correct.
And
100%.
so all I'm doing is helping to facilitate that process for people.
Nice.
Creating the experiences, creating the teachings to help them to find their happy.
Right. And so I have things that help me be happy and be mindful and then put me in that direction. What are some things for people at home that you would suggest? I know it's not a one size fits all. What are certain things that you've seen that have helped others in the happiness journey?
Well, I kind of went a different approach than some of the gurus out there, or I wanted to go to a holistic approach and really dig into what is it that is causing this unhappiness. And so you can't talk about happiness without talking about what's preventing us from getting there. And it's an inside job is really what it boils down to, is your thoughts and your beliefs that create the stress and anxiety in your life. And
100%.
We often think that it's the external environment. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned is actually a very simple equation. It's not a mathematical equation because I don't do mental math.
Yeah, I don't do any math, so we're on the same page. Yeah.
E plus R equals O.
Okay.
So there's an event in your life, and it's your response to it that creates the outcomes.
Right.
So when we
makes
take
sense.
a look at all of that, it's okay. So what's going on outside isn't really the problem. It's usually what's going on the inside.
Right.
So that's where I work with people on the inner critic,
Yeah.
which is, the happy or the angry housewife. That was
Right.
my inner critic was,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was really, really nasty, very
Really?
nasty to me.
Because you're not a nasty person at all.
No, but
You're really
it was,
Yeah.
I really turned it in on myself, and it's I set expectations for myself that were so high, like unachievably high.
Right.
And, that's what I find with a lot of high achievers and people that coach with me is that we've got these beliefs and we made decisions. Oftentimes, like when we were kids, we made decisions based on something that happened, and our interpretation of it created a thought, and then the thought that we think over and over becomes a belief, and then that in turn
Yeah.
impacts our behaviors and how we respond to life or
Right.
or react to life.
Yeah, yeah. When you're sitting with people and talking to them about that, and even yourself, like, were you able to go back that far to figure out, like, what that first initial seed was when you were a child? Or is it just, you can't figure out what the seed was, but you get pretty close to it?
I've done a number of healing processes that
Yeah.
really dig into the subconscious and the energy that is involved in those.
Right.
And so I have memories of the feeling and not necessarily all the time
Yeah.
the actual event.
Okay.
But I have had some sort of, they call it regression therapy, where
Right.
and I, the first time I did it was like, okay, I'm just making this shit up.
Right.
Like this is
Yeah.
this is not this didn't really happen.
Right.
And then years later, I worked with a hypnotherapist, and he said,
Cool.
well, the thing is that the subconscious is in there, and it's pulling information, and it yes, you are making it up, but you're not making it up from a place of this didn't happen.
That's
there
right.
was something that happened,
Right.
and then your filter that you have on it interpreted it.
Okay.
So I always say that our mind believes whatever we tell it,
100%.
and that our body always tells the truth. So
Right.
when we're dealing with emotions, it's what are you feeling? And we focus on the feeling and how do you want to feel. And so there's a whole process, a whole healing process that I work people through.
Cool. Yeah, it's one of, I do this course at Keanu College and at Father Merck when I could go in high schools. Maybe, hey, next semester, things are changing. But it's all about asking like good open-ended questions. Because especially in this generation, the communication skills face-to-face aren't there.
Yeah.
And one of them that I say is like, it's a good question, is ask somebody in their childhood, like, what was like a car ride for you in regards to like, was there music playing? Was there, and if there wasn't music, was there radio? Was there silence? Like, what does that kind of lead you back to? And then most people don't think that far back, and it puts them on a pause, and they're like, huh. And then more often than not, there's a happy memory that's connected to it of some sort, because it's like that seed of their childhood, and it grows from there.
Right.
But I don't feel that most people really think back to like their youth at that stage.
Right.
So if you're looking for that gem of whatever, or the nugget of like what started you on this path, that'd be a fun thing to actually sit down and talk to people about, to see like the
Yeah.
wheels starting to turn.
Yeah. Well, I had a memory of standing, I was about 6 years old, and this is a memory that I believe happened in the way that it happened,
Right.
or the way that I sort of saw it when I was walked through the process.
Right.
And it was my, where we lived, the cemetery was right behind our house, so you could
Okay.
see it from there.
Right.
And-
Quiet neighbors.
Yeah, very quiet. But I remember my parents being at my grandmother's funeral, and
Okay.
I remember pushing the stool up so I could see them, and I had that thought. I just wanted people to feel better. I wanted to be there to make them feel better, and
Right.
that was probably the first memory I had of wanting to help people.
Okay.
And it progressed from there.
There we go. Now listen, there's one guy that helps me all the time. His name is Tanner. He gave me the signal right there that he's got his questions ready. But before we get into the questions, there's a sponsor for this segment, and I think you're a great guest for this sponsor because you have beautiful teeth. Nice white smile. And anybody at home, if you want a nice white smile as well, there's the Fort McMurray Denture Center. Right, Tanner? Center.
That is correct.
And so if you need help with it, they're a great place to go to. So thank you for sponsoring the Mac City Minute. Now, on that note, Tanner, hit her with the Mac City Minute.
All right, question number 1. What is one thing that you think everyone could do to be more happy?
Decide.
Oh, deep.
It's a choice that we make. And I remember when I was in the depths of my depression, my husband saying to me, you just decide, Carla, you just wake up and choose to be happy. And I really wanted to just punch him in the nose. But it really, that's what it comes down to, is making that decision that I want to be happier and deciding in this moment that that's what I'm going to choose. And there's a path to it if you're feeling like you're a long ways away from it.
Right.
But it is a choice.
Question number 2. What is one guilty pleasure you have when it comes to making yourself happy?
I don't have guilt anymore about pleasure. That is one of my life lessons, was that I carried a lot of guilt as a mom and as a woman and as a girl that was brought up on the farm, that was like, you got to work hard and you got to do this and life is hard, and all of those lessons that I learned. I decided that wasn't going to work for me.
Right.
And feeling guilty about it guilt is actually one of the things that I help people work through.
Okay.
Because guilt is that we feel like we're doing something wrong. And when it comes to pleasure, we're never doing anything wrong.
There we go.
Question number 3. If not doing what you do now, how would you want to apply your knowledge in another field?
If I wasn't doing what I'm doing now,
How would you want to apply your knowledge in another field?
I don't even know what field I would do.
Yeah.
That's a tricky question.
Tanner,
I don't think I have an answer for that.
There we go. I love it. That's the first, and that's awesome. When you said that question out loud, I'm just like, how did you string words together like that so nicely? Like, that was like a really articulated, deep question. And I was thinking, I don't know how she's going to answer. I don't know how I'd answer that.
There would be a time when I would stress and try and sort of, it's like, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have a drink.
Okay, there we go.
Question number 4. What is your favorite change you've seen in yourself from your time as the angry housewife to now?
My ability to laugh at myself and some of the ridiculous thoughts and things that I had going on, and just the fact that I truly and deeply love myself now, which was a huge epiphany for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And your final question. What is one story of a time you felt you truly helped change someone?
I have people tell me all the time that spending time with me, especially when I'm having fun and we're just relaxing in the moment, my friends always talk about me changing them, and I don't change anybody.
Right.
They change themselves, and sometimes it's we don't even realize it until after the fact that we've experienced a moment. And that's what it comes down to, is there's these milestones and moments that we experience in life, and often we don't even know. Actually, it just reminded me it'd be more like 40 years ago, I had somebody reach out to me on Facebook and say that I had a conversation with them
40 years ago.
40 years ago
Yeah.
that changed their life.
Oh, cool.
And I don't remember the conversation, but I remember it was after my brother had been killed, and this was a friend of his.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly what what sort of transpired, but he said that that conversation changed his life.
There you go.
And those have been your 5 questions.
It's funny how words can affect people. I've been fortunate enough, like when I moved back to Fort McMurray, I never thought I was going to spend any time back at school, like at Father Mercady, or like any school that I went to for that matter. But I've been lucky enough that I actually have spent like an overwhelming amount of time back at school, Father Merck in particular, more so as an adult than as a kid, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But I got to build relationships with my old teachers, and some of them have been instrumental in who I am now. And I've been able to say, like, hey, there was this one time in social studies class, you said this, and boy, like, the ramifications of those words, that encouragement to me was meant the world. And every time I tell a teacher that, like a past teacher, they just look at me and like, Elliott, I don't remember that moment, like, because they have so many of those interactions. Right. And like, I'm just like, yeah, it meant something to me. And because a lot of them are legitimate friends now, they have taken that away, being like, wow, I need to be more mindful of what I am saying, because that sentence would have never like registered with me that could have meant anything to anyone. Right. So you never know. The words that come out of your mouth can sometimes be pretty powerful, depending on where the person is in their life and what they're hearing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's really about spreading kindness and love, and being having integrity with your word. Yeah. Because you do not know how it will impact somebody, and that we can hear messages over and over and over, and then whatever space that we're in at that time, it just lands. And it can be the same message that we've heard from anybody else.
That's right.
And it just has an impact because that's where we are in our life. And so, it's profound when it happens. And I think teachers are probably the biggest. I love the teachers at Father Merck. They raised my kids.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I know that some the kids had. It takes a village. It really does to raise happy, well-adjusted children. Yeah. And I consider the teachers as sort of partners in helping raise my kids.
There you go. Now, speaking of a village, you had a little bit of a village going on a few weekends ago. You had a bit of a gathering.
Yes.
What was that about? How did it go? Tell me all about it. I knew about you doing it, but I don't know the outcome of them. Because it was a ladies' event, so I couldn't have.
Yeah, it was a ladies' event. We didn't invite the guys. Yeah. I asked. I said that there's some guys that want to come to these events, and there was a lady in the audience that said they can't come. And I always say the only male that can't come is my husband, because but it was Connection Circus, so it was the annual International Women's Day celebration, right? And the feedback has been amazing. We had a great turnout and so much fun. There was a moment for me that just made all of the planning and all of the bringing it all together just so powerful. Was I had finished my talk, and I was standing at the back, and I went to get a drink at the bar, and I turned around and I'm like, okay, who am I gonna go and talk to? Right. And there was nobody sitting at the tables. They were all at the games. So we had created a carnival, right? And they were just fun games like bra pong, and there was some boxing with 9 round, and there's a catapult. It was supposed to be panties, but apparently that didn't work very well. Okay, okay. There was just fun stuff, and to see the women engaged in fun and laughing. And I know for a fact that there was at least 2 people that I know of who have really struggled in the last 2 years with the lockdown and with personal tragedies that they've experienced. And they were out and they were laughing. That's and they awesome. Were doing the hula hoop, and there was laughter and there was connection. Right. And that's really... that's what I do with my events. That's what I always wanted to create, is that atmosphere, a safe space for people to connect, right, and laugh and have fun and to grow and really experience. So that's when I talked about, and actually I got a little emotional on stage, which is, I'm usually the hey, let's do the humor piece.
That's right.
But I talked about the movement that I'm starting, which is Healing with Humor. And it really resonated with people because that's where a lot of people are at. They're fatigued, they're frustrated, they're burned out
100%.
from the energy of the last couple years and everything that Fort McMurray has been through.
Right.
What I saw that night was a group of strong, resilient, amazing women having fun and connecting, and
Awesome.
that was what it was all about for me.
Yeah. Great. Well, I'm glad the event went well because I saw some pictures. It was very well attended. So, and this is one of the first things that people could go out and do again. So I have no doubt people were just like starving for that night out and that kind of like a fun environment, right?
Yes.
So that's very cool. Well, listen, our 20 minutes is up. Tanner gave me the watch tap a while ago. So listen, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming back again. Let's please make this a regular thing, which I think we're going to do. So, because what we talked about last time was very far from what we spoke about this time. So obviously there's a lot of topics that we can cover. Now, before I cut you loose, so everybody gets a shameless shout out or plug. So you have the mic, the lights, and the camera. Have fun.
Perfect. I want to tell you about my retreat, the Reignite Your Spark retreat, which is kind of the founding piece of the Healing with Humor movement.
Right.
It is April 1st to 3rd, Jasper Park Lodge. The early bird pricing is still on, and we are closing sales on that on the 23rd
Of what?
of March.
Okay, cool. So just around the corner here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it. All right, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. That's been another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you for tuning in. Big shout out to our key sponsor, Noral Toyota, Keith, Fad, Nimmer, all the boys and girls down there. Thank you very much. I think everybody saw their ad at the beginning of the show. And big shout out to Fort McMurray Denture Center, helping your smile look that much better, for sponsoring the Mac City Minute. Hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
Hey guys, Karam here with McMurray Denture Center. A lot of people are surprised to hear this, but I'm born and raised here. So is this company. We're local, just like you. Come on in, we'll help you out.
What a deadly old way to end another morning show. Later, boss.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.